Swords are one of the oldest and coolest weapons ever made. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Want something basic? Stick to the medieval broadsword. Edges on both sides of the blade can cut down an opponent no matter where you swing. They go great with shields. Video games are no stranger to swords. Most of them embrace the weapon. You play any fantasy game ever, and you are bound to find a sword at some point in time. Here are the top 15 sword fighting games that are amazing. Be aware of that. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, then click the notification bell to updates the next video, and comment down below if you want a game should be included in top 10 list. Hi Cody fam, here are sword fighting games that are amazing this 2021. Please watch and enjoy. Samurai Shodown has returned. As part of the SNK lineup, Samurai Shodown was one of their niche titles, but still beloved to this day. What makes it stands out is its gameplay. It's your typical 1v1 2D fighter. You have your special moves, and each character is unique and different. Fights are slow, and your best way to win is by reading your opponent and getting an excellent counter-strike on them. A full-on offensive attack isn't going to do you much good. Waiting for the right moment will take you far in this game. Stands out with how it plays. It's all about finding the right opening and striking. Every hit is going to hit you like a truck, which is how a samurai fighting game should play. Waiting for the right moment and then striking your enemy down. The game features a dynamic range of ways to fight. You have your typical fast and heavy attacks with special attacks, and then you can clash with your opponent. If you happen to get disarmed, you'll have to resort to the good old fisticuffs. Just don't lose your weapon. It will be fun for you. Star Wars has had many games in the galaxy far, far away. But very few have been the go-to game to make you feel like a Jedi. While The Force Unleashed was a good game, it made you feel more like a Force warrior rather than a lightsaber-wielding Jedi. Fallen Order, however, remedies that. It puts you in the shoes of former Jedi Padawan Cal Kestis as you travel between planets, which take inspiration from Metroidvania-type games with its exploration and heavy inspirations from Dark Souls. A new story in a familiar galaxy. Cal is a new character added to the Star Wars canon. He was a Padawan that survived Order 66 and is on a quest to find a Jedi artifact, while also recovering his lost Jedi powers. The game requires you to have near perfection with its parry system. If you mistime that parry, then you're taking the damage. It's also easy to get overwhelmed by enemies as they can be extremely aggressive. Especially the rat. Why are the rats so aggressive? If you're a Star Wars fan, then you owe it to yourself to play this game. A civilized weapon for a more civilized age. This is the first time since The Force Unleashed 2 that we got to wield a lightsaber again. It's a Star Wars fan's dream to be their own Jedi. Respawn did their research and gave us just that. All the parts you customize your lightsaber with in-game are real parts you use at the lightsaber station at Disney's Galaxy's Edge. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance gameplay. Okay, bear with me here. No, it's not the greatest Metal Gear game of all time, but when Platinum tackled a game featuring the cyborg ninja Raiden, they created one of the best playing hack and slashes ever made. Sure, the story is all over the place, but the gameplay, boss fights, and banging soundtrack hold this game up. Raiden returns with a vengeance. This spin-off is up for debate whether it falls within the Metal Gear canon, but this game is still engaging and fun regardless of continuity. Platinum is a master at creating fun and exhilarating action games, and it shows with Metal Gear Rising. It wasn't the best action game ever made, but it was fun for a couple of playthroughs. Masters at their craft. Platinum always knows how to make an action game that keeps you engaged with its fast-paced combat and logical gimmicks that make things fun and unique. Can't go wrong with Lord of the Rings. There was so much potential with Monolith's RPG set in Middle-earth. And they achieved it. The kills are brutal, the combat's simple and familiar, yet enemies are relentless and unforgiving, which is everything you would expect from a game set in one of the darkest high fantasy settings in fiction. Fly, you fools. Those who have mastered the combat system from the Batman Arkham games will feel right at home here, although the difficulty got cranked up to 11. Sometimes running in the grassy fields of Mordor isn't such a bad tactic. Middle-earth borrows a lot of elements from the Batman Arkham games, mainly from its combat. You strike an opponent and counter when you see the blue symbol. Now what makes it unique is the Nemesis system, which allows you to recruit enemies and build an army. Shadow of Mordor was a treat as it took us back to the world of Tolkien once more. You're precious. While you fight and slaughter your way through the land of Mordor, you have the option to recruit Uruk soldiers to your army. You can command them to betray their commanders and have the one you mark to take its place, thus building your army to a grand scale. Soul Calibur V is a 2.5D fighting game that gives you a lot of options when it comes to weapons. You got swords from Europe, China, Japan. Then you have some of the crazier weapons like scythes, double-bladed swords, giant chakrams, etc. The game focuses on getting around your opponent's defenses and breaking their guard. Welcome back to the stage of history. Every weapon used in the game are historically accurate and have playstyles that replicate the real-world use of the weapons. The best thing about this game is its extensive character creator. You use an existing play kit and apply it to your custom creation, where you edit their face, hair, gender, and gear. Create to your heart's content. You can edit your race, gender, voice, gear, weapons, etc. The character customizer is the same as it was from Soul Calibur V, but it adds much more voice options and allows more customization items to mix and match with your characters. Brawhalla is an exciting game. It's one of those platform fighters, very similar to Super Smash Bros. The key here is picking up weapons and utilizing them to their maximum potential. You have a roster that is still growing to this day, and each character has 2 arms to choose from. These weapons then drop onto the battlefield for the player to pick up. Fight me, each character has their unique weapons, and it's up to the player on how they use them. They can either attack with them or use it as a throwing weapon. Those spears are nasty. Battle with your friends online and offline in 4-player battles. You can do 2v2s or an all-out free-for-all. If you want something that's fun and will give you some free-for-all laughs, then check out Brawhalla. Pick up your sword. Battles are fast-paced and intense. No match ever plays the same way. With characters that have unique weapons and with constant new characters pumped out, there's always going to be something for someone in Brawhalla. Now, who doesn't like to suffer? Don't worry. Dark Souls has you on this one. Dark Souls will make sure you are not having fun. Whether you're dying to a giant tree, falling off a cliff, or losing all your progress because you got blasted off a ledge by another player while you were waiting for a friend to catch up. Okay, maybe that last one was oddly specific. Dark Souls has you. Please go easy on me, Mr. Death. Dark Souls is unforgiving and relentless, but some people like the challenge. The learning curve and adaptability to learn new patterns helps players get better at not just Dark Souls, but other games as well. Oh, did I mention this game is hard? Dark Souls will continuously remind you that it's a challenging game, but with patience and trial and error, the satisfaction of overcoming that nasty boss will satisfy your adrenaline. But this is what makes Dark Souls enjoyable. Sure, it's difficult, but oh so satisfying when you win. Welcome to Die. While Dark Souls may not be the most cinematic game ever made, the lore is rich. By finding items throughout the world and figuring out how certain characters ended up in this undying state, a lot is left to be ambiguous and open to interpretation. Another title from Fromsoftware, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. A Souls-like game that likes to remind you that life is pain. However, this time around, you're suffering as a ninja. Blocking is key to everything, or I guess parrying would be the better term. It's kind of like Jedi Fallen Order, but less forgiving. Your timing needs to be spot on, and if you spam the block button, the game will recognize it and will less likely give you a parry. I wonder what's behind this man-eating tree. Like most other Fromsoftware, game exploration is encouraged. More often than not, it can be gratifying to walk off the beaten path. Once you get the parrying down, it becomes like a rhythm. Similar to a Japanese duel. It's not all that flashy, but rather slow and collected. Wait for the perfect moment to execute a flawless strike. When at first you don't succeed, try again, just not too much. Luckily, when you die you don't lose all of your progress. Instead, you have the option to resurrect. Now, if you die 2 times in a row, you will lose a percentage of your progress and will be unrecoverable. Travel to the mysterious island of Japan as the pirate turned samurai. William Adams. Another Soulborn type of game. What's interesting about this one is, rather than utilizing blocks, dodges, and parries, it utilizes all of these and focuses on stance changes. These are actual stances used in katana combat. A real Western samurai. Nioh takes place shortly after the Sengoku era, around 1600. Players control William Adams, who is loosely based on the English pilot of the same name. You have your standard mid stance, more oppressive high stance, and quicker low stance, all of which the player can utilize to get through different kinds of enemies. It's not as tricky as, let's say, Dark Souls, but it's challenging enough to keep it fun. That's quite the arsenal. There is a wide variety of weapon choices. You can use swords, spears, hammers, kusarigamas, chain and sickle, all of which have their own stances and movesets with different skill trees. For Honor is a medieval combat simulator that puts you in the boots of a Viking, samurai, or knight warrior and lets you battle to the death with other players. It's a skill-focused fighting game that requires you to read your opponent's movements and adapt to their patterns. All is fair in love and war. While on the battlefield, you can use his feats and perks. The more eliminations and assists you perform, the quicker these abilities become available. One perk includes a catapult or a volley of fire arrows. Works excellent in 1v3 situations. Utilizes precise timing and quick second reactions. At first glance, For Honor might turn people off with its intense learning curve, but given time and patience, For Honor shines as a unique PvP game and is worthy to dine in the halls of Brawhalla. Executions are stylish and over the top. It almost measures up to the violence seen in Mortal Kombat, but a little more realistic. You can only perform them after a final blow from a heavy attack. Ubisoft is continually adding new execution, emote, and victory animations during each significant patch update.